Hi there. My name is Max Stoltz. I work for a company called Nordex USA. We are a original equipment manufacturer of large-scale wind turbines, headquartered in Germany. I'm currently working on a project in where am I at right now? Pretty, Texas. Priddy. It's a very interesting little town, I guess. I don't even think there's a stoplight in this town. And so rural America is where I get to spend a lot of my time. I've been within my organization for 11 years now. I graduated from a little school called Mesa Lands Community College back in 2010, and I have got hired on with Nordex shortly thereafter, and have been installing commercial scale wind turbines all over the country and even the world since then. So I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas, or just outside of Fort Worth, a community called Keller. It's kind of a suburb of Fort Worth. I was able to grow up there. I ended up graduating high school in 2005, but I didn't graduate from Keller. I actually lived in a out in West Texas near Sweetwater, Texas, and graduated from a high school just south of Roscoe, Texas, called Highland ISD. It was pre-K through 12th grade, all in one building, about 200 people total, 200 kids, 200 students in the entire facility there, compared to my high school in Fort Worth that I had 600 people in my class. So kind of a big difference, but I had some family changes and things that happened in my younger years there that got me out towards West Texas, and in the early 2000s, 2001, 2, up to 2005, that's whenever that area, the Sweetwater, Texas area and Roscoe, started to boom with wind turbines, and that's kind of when I first had my view of commercial scale wind turbines. What I did during high school, or even growing up, was lawn care. I started a lawn business when I was a youngster, pushing the lawnmowers up and down the street and dragging all my equipment around and starting lawn care, starting making money at an early age. And I transitioned that into when I got my first vehicle when I turned 16. It was a pickup truck. So then having a pickup truck, I was able to expand my area and take on more work and start hustling to start making money. And money has been a big part of driving the decisions I've made in my life. So I think with that, as a youngster, just starting out early, starting out eager, and just going out and getting it. No, there's no. I never had a free lunch, so it was if I wanted something, I would go out and earn it. So within Mesa Lands, my I told you I had some family things and moving around and such. So my mom ended up moving up to a little community called Clarendon, Texas, which is on the east side of Amarillo, about 50 miles or so. So from a distance from Mesa Lands to that location was an hour and change, or no, I'm sorry, maybe 3 hours, a little less than 3 hours or something like that, from what I remember. And she saw a advertisement on her local television for Mesa Lands, and the program that they were putting on there, as well as that the school was soon to get a GE 1.5 machine. And so then I kind of sparked my interest a little bit. And this was also during 2008, whenever things were starting to get a little fussy in the market. Back then, before I knew what a market was, things were getting a little harder to, or there was the recession that took place, and the service that I was offering, which was lawn care. So, like I said, I graduated in 2005, so I had my business up until 2008 of lawn care, and then in 2008, when things got a little dicey back there, I was one of the first people that didn't get paid. So I offered a luxury service to people to maintain their properties and maintain their lawns, but I was one of the first guys that didn't get a check. So, they were going to keep their lights on and keep food in the fridge and keep the cell phone running and all those other things, which, I get. But I was one of the first guys to lose a check. And that was hard for me. It was hard for me to collect money. I just didn't like that aspect of my job. I enjoyed the work, I enjoyed what I did, but having to knock on doors and say, "Hey, you owe me some money," I didn't enjoy that part. And so it was about that time that I decided that I wanted to look around and see what else was out there. And seeing the wind turbines and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ish out there in West Texas, I had an interest in them. I've always liked mechanical things, large machinery. It just kind of fit the bill of what kind of piques my interest. So the my mom had mentioned to me the advertisement she had seen on the TV, and we started talking with one of the recruiters. Um, and then a few months later, I was enrolled in the program. I helped, or I sold during that time. I ended up selling my business and selling all my equipment to help fund my trip through Mesalands. Another thing that Mesalands offered me was a work study program. So I was able to work for the college uh, to earn cash. That was extremely vital to keeping me afloat while I was in school there. The work study program that I was on was working for the rodeo team. So I worked for the rodeo team and took care of the livestock, fed the livestock whenever they were out on rodeos or while they were, working the arena or doing their practices and all that. So I maintained the livestock as best I could. The coach at the time was CJ Aragon, a wonderful person that I still keep in touch with today. So 11 years later, I still keep in touch with Coach. So I've had a handful of careers, I guess, within Nordex over these years. I started off as a service technician in New Raymer, Colorado. That was my first assignment, was to be a service tech, and like I said, this was 2010, late 2010 or so is when I was on that location. It was new construction, so I got to see new machines being assembled, and I got to see the chaos and calamity that goes along with that, and I just fell in love with it. The challenges on a daily basis to build these machines is amazing. So I put in for a different role at that point to be a erection supervisor, and I got that task, and I did that for a couple years, and then it had a couple other names along the way. Um, I was able to do a handful of things within the organization with a handful of different job titles as well. But my current job title is Installation Process Manager, which means I manage the technical advisors that work for Nordex USA and build these machines. So I currently have 4 projects under my scope, and I've got 8 technical advisors that work under me, and they're my eyes and ears out in the field, and they can help relay the message to the client and general contractor of how we need to build this machine in a quality or in a safe quality manner with some efficiency as well. And then whenever the teams run into hiccups, then they give me a call, and I do my best to troubleshoot them and get them fixed over the phone. I'm only one person, and I've got 4 projects right now, so I have to juggle my time as best as I can. So right now I have the ability to do some work remotely, and since my project, since I'm not face to face with some of the guys, and the work that I do is over the phone or over FaceTime, troubleshooting with my teammates. Some of the work I can do can be done from my camper. or anywhere that I'm at. So my wife and my son travel with me on the road, and so some days I'm at the camper, pecking away at my little computer here and scheduling my team and trying to assist them and move them forward. And then some days I'm on location. Like today, you can see I'm in the quiet room in the job trailer here. It's kind of like a storage closet. So I'm actually on a new construction job right now. Like I said, in Pretty, Texas. And so today, I showed up on location this morning. I worked with two of my team members directly and tried to coach them on some various things that we're up to on this particular project, as well as the general contractor had a couple small hiccups that they needed to work through today, and we helped coach them through those situations, trying to make these guys basically as efficient as possible to safely erect and these machines with quality in mind. Within the wind business, there are many, 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 many roles of responsibility that you could be in. You could be a site service technician that you maintain a single park that has 20 to 300 machines on it, and that's your job. You work at that location. Um, for me, I did that in 2013, I think it was. I did that for a little bit, and that just wasn't for me. It wasn't exciting enough. It wasn't gritty enough. It wasn't the chaos that my job is currently, with new construction. So so with that being said, there's multiple different fields that you can get into, and the one that I'm in now that works for me is a traveling position. So the company pays me to travel all over the country and build these machines, even all over the world, and I'll touch on that in a minute. But what works for me now is, yes, I have my family with, and we bought a travel trailer, and that I get to sleep essentially at home with my family every night, which is a big deal. For the 11 years that I've been within Nordex, I've been with my wife for 10 of those years. Shortly thereafter, my son was born. That's when we decided that we were going to sell our ranch in West Texas and travel over the road full time as a family unit. Before, when I was traveling, my wife would stay at the house. She would manage the property, as well as she had a full time career working in a hospital, managing a hospital. That that was her full time gig. So it wasn't conducive for us to cut her out of her job that she loved and come out on the road. But then when our son was born, then we decided that it was time to be a family unit together, and we didn't see that it made the best sense for us to stay at that location we were at in West Texas, and we sold all of our things, our property and tractors and welding equipment and all of our stuff to go out on the road. So one of my things that I tell folks is I've eaten McDonald's on 4 different continents. So and that's all been due to traveling in wind. I can say when I was a youngster and before I was in wind, I had been to Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Mexico, and that was it. Now I've been to most of the lower 48. I've worked in Germany. I've worked in Italy. I've worked in Uruguay, South America. I've worked in South Africa. Um, yeah, I think that's it. So I've been able to travel and teach the craft of wind farming, and it's been a wild ride, but it's been a lot of fun. So my plan and my family's plan is that right now we're stacking away all the money that we can. We've got everything, in investments and trying to make a little bit of money with the money that we currently have. And we plan to go on a sabbatical, a multi-year, at least a 5-year trip, and circumnavigate the world on a sailboat. 5 years from now, I had better be sitting on my sailboat in the Caribbean, hopefully. Yeah, that's where I plan to be. Hopefully, in 5 years, working through the Caribbean on my way to the Panama Canal to then head to the South Pacific. Wind and working in this business is what's helped me to afford and attain this dream and this goal. Anything you want's there. It's all out there. Anything you want is out there. What you need to do is work hard. Work hard every single day. Work hard to get yourself where you want to be. Um, it, I don't really feel like there's too many roadblocks for folks. I've seen some amazing success stories along the way, myself included. I've worked hard. I've made really good financial decisions, um, and I'm hopeful that I will be retired before I'm 40 years old.